Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're diving into a feature inside SAP S/4HANA that's a total game changer for how you use data, embedded analytics. We're going to see how it brings your insights into real time right inside your business operations where they happen. So, think about it. You know that classic problem in pretty much every company, right? Business is happening live, transactions are flying, but the reports, well, the reports are often hours, sometimes even days behind. It creates this huge disconnect. But what if you could finally close that gap for good? And that's exactly the promise of embedded analytics. You know, the core idea is actually pretty simple, but it's also revolutionary. Your business data and the tools that analyze it are no longer in two separate places. They live together in the very same software stack. And what that means is your insights are being generated in the moment, not after the fact. Okay, so how does this thing actually work? To really get it, we need to pop the hood and look at the blueprint. And honestly, it's all built on a really simple, logical three-layer architecture. Let's build a quick mental model here. At the very bottom, you've got your foundation, the SAP HANA database. That's where all your live business data lives. Then, way up at the top, you have the SAP Fiori apps. That's the pretty front end where your users actually see and play with the data. Now, the real magic? That happens right in the middle layer. This is your translator. It's called the virtual data model. It's built with something called Core Data Services, or CDS views, and its entire job is to get that bottom layer and top layer talking to each other seamlessly. So let's zoom in on that middle layer for a second, because this is where the real innovation is. It's all about creating a common language. And for SAP, that language is Core Data Services, or CDS. And to really get why CDS is so important, you kind of have to look at the history. I mean, SAP acquired a lot of different companies over the years, and each one came with its own data structures, its own coding languages. It was like having a room full of people all speaking a different language. So the challenge was massive. How do you get everyone to understand each other? Well, you need a universal translator.
And that's exactly what CDS became. As the source material puts it, CDS is a universal language to read and process data across different software stacks. It basically provides one common way to define your data and one common way to access it, no matter which system it originally came from. It really is the key that unlocks everything else.
All right, so now we have the what and the why. Let's get practical and talk about the how. Think of this next part as your analytics toolkit, a step-by-step guide for taking raw data and turning it into a beautiful finished dashboard. The whole process really boils down to this logical three-step workflow. First, you model the data. That means finding or creating the right CDS view. Second, you build a query to slice and dice that data into the specific set you need. And third, you design the visualization, the actual report or KPI that the user is going to see. So let's break each one down real quick. Okay, step one, modeling the data. Your first stop is always the View Browser app. Think of this like a huge library of pre-built data models from SAP. You're basically looking to see if SAP has already done the work for you with a standard CDS view. If not, no problem. You just hop over to the Custom CDS Views app and build your own, maybe combining a few different data sources to get exactly what you need. So once you have your data model, step two is all about building the query. Using the Custom Analytical Queries app, you're taking that broad data model and filtering it way down. So for example, you might take a view of all sales orders, but then you filter it to show only orders from the last quarter for a specific region. You're really just narrowing the focus to create a super precise targeted data set for your analysis. And the final step is where you bring it all to life for the user. You'll use the Manage KPIs and Reports app to take that focus query we just made and turn it into something a person can actually understand, like a visual report, a full dashboard, or a key performance indicator, which is just a fancy term for a single critical number, like your on-time delivery rate. And you've got a ton of options for what that final visualization looks like. For a quick on-the-fly analysis, you'd probably use the Data Analyzer. But if your user needs a big, comprehensive dashboard with multiple charts and filters and the whole shebang, you'd build an analytical list page. The key takeaway here is that the platform gives you a specific tool for each job so you can deliver exactly what the business needs. Now, once you get the hang of building these dashboards and reports, there's a whole other level you can unlock. We can actually go beyond just looking at what happened in the past and start predicting what will happen by adding machine learning right into the mix. The tool set for all of this is called Intelligent Scenario Lifecycle Management, or ISLM for short. This is basically the framework SAP gives you to manage machine learning models directly within your business processes. So we're talking about things like predicting which of your sales deals are most likely to close this quarter, or forecasting future inventory needs based on past trends. It's powerful stuff. Inside this ISLM framework, you've got a couple of key libraries. There's the Automated Predictive Library, or APL, which is really designed for business analysts who want to apply machine learning without having to write a bunch of code. And then there's the Predictive Analysis Library, or PAL, which has more advanced algorithms for the data scientists. So, as a consultant, your job is to figure out which of these pre-built scenarios to activate to solve a specific business problem for your client.
Whew, okay, we've covered a lot of ground, from the basic architecture all the way to advanced machine learning. So let's bring this all together and give you a clear, actionable first step you can take, like right now.
Your journey starts right here with the View Browser Fiori app. Seriously, this app is your window into every single data source that's available in the system. The best way to learn this stuff is to just open it up, search for views related to your area like sales or finance, and just see what analytics SAP has already delivered. It is, by far, the fastest way to see what's possible. So there you have it. You now have the blueprint for real-time embedded analytics. You understand the architecture, you know the tools, and you've got the process down. The only question left is, what insights are you going to unlock first?